welcome everyone to the Foul Play YouTube channel. This is open mic number 236. Hope everyone's doing well tonight, today, wherever you're located in the world, and really appreciate everybody jumping in and joining us with our continuing going over this new 2024 release of the DCI files. So anyway, I'd like to say hello to Christina. How are you doing tonight?
I am well. Hi, everyone on chat. Hi, Jax. Hopefully, my voice doesn't sound as bad on the microphone as it does to my ears.
No, you actually sound better than you did last Sunday. I know we were talking before we started, and it's not cracking. I can still tell there's a little something, but it's not like it was. It's a lot better.
Oh, good. It was.
And yeah, it sounded pretty rough. I'm glad you're feeling better. Glad you're feeling better.
Yes. Yeah.
Dr. Silkman has, he's not feeling well. He got a pretty good infection going, and he did get some medication last week and seemed to really help him out. But I guess it's kind of reared its ugly head, and he's going to have to go back to the doctor. So that's the reason we're doing an extra open mic this week. I know he's going to try to jump in the live or into the chat, but I don't think he's going to try to join us. He said his voice, he told me it was pretty terrible. So,
well, I'm praying for a rapid and speedy recovery for him.
Yeah, when you get something like that, you feel terrible. So, anyway, we've also been talking about, Christina and I have been going through this big DCI report, getting it separated, and we're way into it. So hopefully before another week or two, we can have all of it done, and then I can start bugging Zoe. I know she's really busy in her life. I'll start bugging Zoe about getting them uploaded to the library into a separate folder. It will not be in the same DCI folder. It will be a DCI 2024 or whatever we choose to name it. And then on top of that, I've tried my best, and we've actually been fairly lucky, because so many of these are redacted. And when I say redacted, I'm always pointing towards somebody that says interview of, and it'll be redacted. We're very fortunate that we had the prior DCI reports that yours and Rookie got. And, we've got, there were a few, I think, that we got out of some of the briefs that Kathleen Zellner turned in, other various sources, wherever that was.
The Colburn lawsuit got us a few more, I think.
Yeah. And then there was some, I can't remember how they came about, if it was way back 2016, 2017 timeframe. I don't remember how that occurred, but regardless, we got some back then after we started getting records, but I was able to, there's not too many that we don't know the name of who's getting interviewed. There are a few, but we're very fortunate that most of them do have at least a name associated with it, even though it'll be redacted in the report. The actual report name has the name of who's getting interviewed. So
it really makes no sense to me in an official report to redact the person you're interviewing unless they're a minor or it's a victim.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I don't understand the logic of thinking a balancing test is going to benefit justice by not allowing you to understand who it is you're choosing to interview.
That's why I said, let me interrupt just 1 second. That's why I said last week or week before, I probably said it twice. I don't get this whole. It's like it's one specific section. It's in that letter, that they took. I mean, they took this one specific section, subsection, blah blah blah. They took it to the extreme. Thing. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like an attempt to say nothing to see here. They the Ashley Merchant, Fannie Willis, the court found the AG's off, or the Fulton County DA's office in contempt, and Ashley Merchant won that lawsuit. They got to turn everything over. So that's interesting.
I'm not really familiar with it.
Well, it's just what's interesting is that they were basically using a lot of verbatim excuses. I almost feel like there's a software program that these DAs have to pick how they're going to deny our stuff, because a lot of it's almost verbatim what we've heard. The excuses they were giving Ashley Merchant, we've heard, trying to get records in this case. But yeah, they messed with the wrong one. So I would love to pick her brain to see if there's a way we could try and apply some of her methods to getting stuff in this case, because it's frustrating.
Oh, it's extremely frustrating, and just to keep everybody up to date. I know everybody gets tired of me talking about it, but going through these records again has prompted me. I mean, there are, I've had 3 or 4 DCI reports still pending. I'm waiting on, and it's everyone knows that. Oh, this goes back to August of 2022. Still don't have it. One file. Anyway, going through these here recently, I've sent 3 more requests, and I've intentionally kept them separate. The first one I sent a few days ago, I got a reply from this guy. He's the head of the Office of Open Government, I guess. He's the one that always seems to be in control. His name is Paul Ferguson. And look, I'm sure they get a lot of requests. It's probably many in one given day, and next day they get very few. I'm sure that's how it rolls for them, and I'm sure they're very busy. I have no doubt. Anyway, whatever it was I requested, I don't know what it was. There's a report. I doubt we'll get to it tonight. It's report 324, and in that report, it specifically states that the senior, he's an audio electronics or audio tech guy, whatever, audio video. His name is Larry. He's a special agent, Larry Flessert. He got 2 envelopes from Fassbender. One was from Fassbender, and the other one was from Manitowoc County. This is December the 20th of 2006. This is basically a month and a half before trial. December the 20th, 2006. He has these 2 envelopes with multiple CDs in each envelope. They're not identified. There is no property tag number. There is no DCI receipt number, as we've seen throughout all these reports. Nothing at all. It just says it's called value added, whatever. It's a VAC file, VAC. And those have to play on a CD. They have to be converted to a WAV file or MP3. So anyway, there was also a set of instructions accompanying these 2 envelopes of what to do, what they wanted, whoever.
Is this the one with the blue?
No.
Is this okay?
No. It's just like a half-page written document that Flessert put together in his little report. He basically took whatever these CDs were, and he converted them to MP3 or WAV file, I guess, WAV, so they could be played on a regular CD. Did not identify anything at all, and he didn't attach a copy of the letter that got his instructions. So it's like we've got some stuff coming in. It's clearly evidence of some kind that they wanted copied. Anyway, so I asked for a copy of whatever these files were on these CDs, and I asked for a copy of everything that he converted or whatever that's in that report, in report 324. It's super irritating. It's like they ran some stuff in and, will you do this favor for me, but don't identify anything. Because if you look at all these other reports, I know you've seen it, Christina, these things are always accompanied by, if it's evidence, they're always accompanied by uh, a property tag from the DCI. All of them.
Yep.
Well, this one's not.
Yep.
So anyway, I asked for that, and this Paul Ferguson did reply to me. He said, basically, we're still working on this release upcoming, blah blah blah, and that doesn't mean, I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not. That doesn't mean jack shit to me. That means nothing. Nothing.
Mm-mm.
I don't know what they're going to release. I don't know what they're going to decide this is not worthy of release. No idea. And neither more, nothing. I mean, it's not that I don't care, but it has nothing to do with me as a citizen being able to send an open records request unless they've canceled an ORR in Wisconsin, which of course I know they haven't. Anyway, it's super irritating. It's like, well, you guys just need to wait, and maybe we'll release what you're looking for, maybe we won't. No, I'm not waiting.
Generally, I feel like we've had this conversation. They have
Sure.
10 days to respond, right?
Well, no, not exactly. What their guidelines say is that 10 days is a reasonable amount of time for an agency to respond, but they're not legally required. They left that what they said in the actual law itself is a reasonable. It's a reasonable amount of time or something that's attached to it too.
So maybe we should craft an argument where, how long has it been since you requested this?
This latest one?
Yeah. 326.
It probably last Monday, last Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, let's give them a couple weeks. But then be like, look, you just put all this stuff together. So I know it's fresh on your plate and easy to access. And let's just get with it.
What's frustrating is that they're saying they're having to review the files.
Yeah.
Guys, these files are 19 plus years old.
Yeah. Why do you need to review them?
Why weren't they reviewed in 2005 and 2006?
Yeah. Like when you did all the updating, you reviewed them then. Just rip me a copy and get it to me. Thank you very much.
I know other requesters have gotten, replies from the DOJ saying, well, you have records responsive to your request, but we have to review it, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I know others have gotten those letters from them. So how many times do these records need to be reviewed? Is it every time someone requests something? What is that?
Yeah.
Does that mean, well, we need to look at it in the light of day now, just in case there's something we don't want to let you have? That's because that's how it comes across.
That's what it sounds like.
Sure.
When you could, if this investigation and conviction is solid and just and on the up and up, then it should not be a struggle to get the evidence that you use to obtain these convictions. And the fact that everything is like pulling teeth from a rabid dog, in a case where you have gone above and beyond to make people think there's nothing to see here, kind of undermines your words,
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. But again, hopefully we'll be done with this new version here in a couple of weeks, and I'm able to get Zoe to start working on getting them uploaded to the library, because again, the order of these are really something too. That really something that really caught my eye. How far behind some of these agents were. I mean, one of the last ones I did last night, the special agent Lisa Wilson. It is the report itself, but it was a 2012. She still had evidence in her personal credenza, and the Madison officer or wherever I think is in Madison. Actual evidence in her locked credenza, I guess at her desk or in her office or whatever, that didn't get submitted until 2012. They came out of the Mitchell's materials, Corey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good catch. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So anyway.
Yep. I know the thing with Fringen caught my eye. Where Fringen turned over some of the worksheets in the Brendan Dassey case. He had that stuff.
Well, that was at the family court thing.
Yep.
And so when I think it's Winnebago County. Yeah, it was Winnebago. Yeah, all those self check, whatever self check interview.
Yep, self interviews or whatever, and it's interesting because it makes me wonder, because there's stuff that wasn't included that he said he also gave them. And I'm like, now that's interesting, because I think he said he turned over personal correspondence between him and O'Kelly, or O'Kelly and Kaczynski. And that wasn't included in the report. Yeah. And
there's drawings there's drawings that are missing too.
Yep. And it should be.
Yeah. Doc and I talked about there's definitely some drawings that are not there. So anyway. All right. If everybody's ready, why don't we jump in for a little bit? If there's anything, if there's questions, please put a queue up in the live chat. And of course, you, Christine, if you have a question about anything we're looking at, you want a closer look, then by all means say so. I mean, these reports are what they are. I'm in no particular big hurry to just run through them. I mean, the relevant ones I don't really care anything about, but you guys are going to see as we get a little further. I mean, there was a lot of good ones up to now, but there are more coming. I promise you, there are that are. It's like, wait, hold on. So anyway, this is where we left off last week. Report 211. And the report date, that current date and the report date's not too bad. This is relatively a week and a half after the fact. Fassbender interviewed Carrie Slavert. I guess that's her. No, Sievert. That's an I, not an L. Carrie Sievert. She's the principal at Sacred Heart School. On January 13th, 2006. Really not too much to see there. I remember scanning through this, but I don't remember seeing anything that jumped out at me, caught my eye. Unless somebody has some interest in this, I'm going to move on. Christina, you good?
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to open up this other here. Apologize, I forgot to do that. Or maybe I did. This is 212. Contact by Candy Avery. Yeah, okay. And this is the 25th. Now, if you guys remember, I think there was another one on the 23rd. I'm not. I don't know. We'll see here. Let's see if we passed it yet. I know that there was two contacts between Fassbender and Candy in relatively short succession here. Within like a couple, 2 or 3 days. So we can take a look at this. Yeah, this occurred on the 25th
of November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking 2 weeks after Stephen was arrested.
Oh, no. This is a few months.
Oh.
January 25th.
Oh, January 25th. I thought you said November. Sorry.
No, okay. You're fine. Anyway, says Fassbender received a call from Candy on his cell phone. And, you sit and think, well, how did Candy have my cell phone number? I'm sure that's not listed, on the website. So how did she get his cell phone number?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Fassbender received a call between 8:30 and 9 a.m. Candy advised that she had spoken with her daughter Marie about the woman that was going to be coming to speak with her, Wendy Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Candy advised that Marie indicated that if the woman is at the house tomorrow, she will not come there. Like I've said in the past, you guys just have to read for yourself, but Marie did not want to talk to her. She had said nothing happened. They're trying to say that, Avery attacked her. Anyway. Candy advised that she tried to convince Marie to speak with the investigator. Now you can read it. This gets into some pretty triggering stuff, so I'm not going to go too far into it unless you guys just want to. Candy said that she believed that Marie probably does not want to talk about it because of a threat. Candy advised that Stephen Avery had told Marie if she told anyone about the activities together, he would kill her family, which is ridiculous because Stephen's never. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, whatever. Candy provided Marie's telephone number. Fassbender and her investigator Baldwin wanted to talk to her if, in case. Yeah. Candy's advised her number at work is blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Anyway. And I can't remember. We'll move on here. Let me move on down to this next report. Okay.
Candy's an interesting specimen.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she is. She certainly played her part getting Brendan locked up, I can tell you that.
Yeah. And she's got 2 brothers that have both done time for some of the stuff she was accusing Stephen of. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think me and Sherry.
Sherilyn Pontillo. Y'all dig that up?
We dug that up a while back. And one of her brothers was going through the criminal process like around this time, if I remember correctly. So I always found that interesting because I wonder if she wasn't trying to, help her brother out and help Earl out at the same time. You got one of the brothers in prison, then, there's not so many hands in the family business.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Report 213. It's interesting here that, they were so interested in keeping Bear on the property because they were waiting for him to take a crap. And then they have it, but they don't x-ray or whatever for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
almost 3 months actually. January 26th. But they, of course, they didn't find anything.
No. I did find, if I remember correctly, they did say, because there was a spoon in there, and then in this report, I don't remember reading this somewhere else first, but there was somewhere it was documented that the spoon was likely used to put the poop in the bag.
Well, it's actually in a can.
Or in a can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a photo of it. Yeah, there it is.
Yep. And they think the spoon was used to scoop the poop.
Wow, it doesn't really make any sense why they would have left the spoon in there, though.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, isn't it?
Well, it is to me.
It's not surprising in this case that they would do it, but this whole case is just whack-a-mole. But
I agree. And then, see, like I said, so often you come to a report that's got a DCI property tag. You can see it over here. This is D6266. And that one report I told you about earlier, there is no such report. It doesn't detail anything at all. And even if the report's not attached to a lot of these, the actual DCI report, it'll still give the property tag number that they've assigned to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, James Holmes, man, his name is on a lot of stuff. All right, moving on. 214. FBI lab report. Now this is at January the 19th. That they got this report, and this report, we've got the unredacted version. I can pull it up. What did I say? This was 219.
Yeah.
Okay, 219. Nope, not 219. It's wrong. You go back up. 214. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, here we go. I'll blow that up a little bit. If you look down here toward the bottom, the part that's redacted, it was reported that the sequence obtained from those items were the same, with the exception of position 320. It was reported that due to the closely related sequences obtained from the specimen, Teresa Halbach cannot be excluded as a source of the charged remains. Didn't identify her. It just says she can't be excluded. And of course, that got twisted as if to say for sure this was Teresa. Now, my belief, it probably is, but it's still lacking in a full profile, right? So anyway, I don't know why they redacted that out. I don't understand. Somebody please explain to me from a legal standpoint why they would redact that, because I don't get it. I just don't. Makes no sense to me at all.
What did they do that again? What did they redact?
Redacted this whole bottom section there where it basically says that Teresa can't be excluded because of this whole section where it starts with it.
Huh.
That whole, yeah.
That is strange.
I don't understand why they would do that. Electronically attached to the, I don't remember any attachments, but it could be here. I just don't remember. Let's see if anything said. Yeah, they did. They didn't attach the FBI report. Okay. Not there.
Do we have that?
I
feel like I've seen it.
Yeah, Doc, I think we do. I think we do have that, but I can't remember. Strange. I just don't understand why they would redact that. Anyway, let's move on. 215 neighborhood canvas survey. And see, here we got another neighborhood canvas, but this guy's name was not redacted like they do so many others. But I don't remember anything outstanding from this guy. There's a telephone interview. Prosecutor identified himself, told client, then follow up in the Avery case. This client says he's a delivery person for Feral Gas. Client initially advised that he was not out in the vicinity of the Avery salvage yard on October 31, and he had not been up there all week. Client advised he worked right across the street from the salvage yard, or from where Avery Road goes towards the salvage yard, which is that. Well, there's a gas, big gas thing across the road over there as well. So this is the guy that I guess worked from that big filling thing. I guess it
filling tank. Place.
Yeah, the filling tank that was across the street.
Okay.
So, but he said he had been out there all week. Client said he was out there about a month ago. He advised that he saw Stephen Avery's mother at that time, but they did not talk about Stephen Avery's case. He said client advised last time he was at the Avery's prior to that was probably March of 2005. So there was just, I didn't get anything from this report at all. Yeah. So moving on. 216. This is another neighborhood canvas of John Leurquin. We know about this one. He's the one that did fill up there at the end of the Avery salvage at the Avery Road, and but he didn't. He saw a vehicle go by, but he couldn't specifically identify RAV. But he didn't see the school bus, which he would have if he'd have been there when he said. There's no doubt he would have seen the school bus. Anyway, we've covered that quite a bit in depth.
Now, what time did he say he was there?
We can find it here, I'm sure. I think it was an hour. I think it says right here it is. Fassbender. When the end of the day was for Leurquin, and he advised it was between 3 and 4 because he always went and filled his truck up before going home or before ending his shift. That way, you didn't have to fill with it the following morning.
So 3:45-ish, probably.
Yeah, he said between 3. He didn't see the bus.
Oh, he didn't.
That's right. He did not see the school bus, and the school bus is there between 3:30 and 4. I think around 3:45, around 3:45, something like that. But remember, this was the day after daylight savings time, so if he looked at his truck clock, and if it was an analog, it had been reset, it would easily been an hour off. And I think that's probably what he did. I can't prove that. It's conjecture.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. And he says here when asked about gunshots, he advised that he may have heard gunshots. He believed it would have been the week of T-Zone that he heard coming from the Avery's property. I don't know when that week is. Leurquin advised that he believed it would have been the week after October 31, and that changed that, and he advised that it was the week before that. So he doesn't know. He can't remember for sure. He said he doesn't recall any on October 31. You don't remember seeing Stephen on October 31. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of that. We've covered that one pretty much at depth. Report 217, chain of custody into info Bellin Hospital. This is the January 23rd, 2006. I think this details because, we've talked about this last week, I think. They needed a sample that had been, for sure, in custody, locked up, that was definitely identified as Teresa Halbach. So that's why this chain of custody is important legally. I mean, they had her clothing and stuff, but you really get into some murky water, because anyone within that house could have had access to it. So that muddies up your chain of custody. Sorry?
Especially when you don't have a body.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, this details the chain of custody that Bellin has. I don't think there's anything super outstanding here. I think it tells us the sample is a couple of years old when they got. I think that passenger is from 2002, if I'm remembering correctly.
This is one of the weirdest cases I've ever seen when they to prove someone is deceased, because they really didn't do it legally. I'm not saying she's alive. I'm just saying that the evidence.
It's a real loose thing.
It is. It's very, very controversial, to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, moving on. 218, crime lab info regarding a pap smear slide used. Now, I'm sure that there were 3 slides, and Culhane used one of them. And I'm pretty sure this report details that, that she had used one of the slides. Yeah. Culhane from the crime lab telephoned Fassbender at the Upton office. Culhane advised that she had utilized only one of the pap smear slides, and it should have been provided to her, representing that they were from Teresa Halbach. Culhane advised that the slide was used, gives the identifier number. See, even she gives the some kind of identifier, property tag, from Bellin Hospital in Green Bay. Culhane advised the name of Teresa Halbach was also written on it, what appeared to be a pencil. Into that.
Pencil. Huh.
Yeah, that doesn't give me a good feeling, right? Should be in blue or black pen to me. All right, 219. Here's enhancement of audio track on VHS tape. This is Larry Flessert. He's the Technical Services Unit, DCI. And he talks about, let's see if I'm remembering right. At the request of DCI Special Agent Fassbender, Senior Electronics Technician Larry Flessert processed for increased clarity the audio track of VHS tape D2602. Flessert first copied the contents of the video track of the original tape in its entirety in the AV lab to the main computer using whatever software, Pinnacle. Flessert then copied the contents of the audio track of the original tape in its entirety to the SES computer. The copy of the audio track was processed in the SES computer using SES software. After it was completed, Fletcher took the processed copy of the audio track from the computer and placed it on a DVD-R disc. Content was merged with a copy of the video track in the AV lab room main computer using Pinnacle. Fletcher synchronized the video and the audio tracks. These synchronized tracks were then placed copied to a DVD-R disc using blah blah blah. So Larry's the man. He can do it. He's a very skilled analyst technician that does this kind of work, as we clearly see in numerous reports. All right, moving on. 220. Interview of George. And there's a lot of these you're going to see as we go through. A lot of these you guys probably never heard of. And I remember reading through, so many of these that we had from way back. But, I remember the name, but there's really nothing there that I've caught. Desert's name and address has been provided to Fassbender by scene security personnel at scene security. Okay, yeah. All right. At the Avery salvage yard, personnel securing the scene had obtained Desert's name as a result of him driving through or into the area. So you drive into the area of the Avery salvage yard, and now you've got to be questioned. They didn't question Slawinski, and he was there every damn day.
Mm-hmm.
It's indicated that this Desert was a Bell gas delivery person. Upon contacting Sir Fassbender explained that he was doing follow-up investigative work on the Halbach case, and they received Desert's name as noted above. So there's nothing there. He's another gas driver, probably stopped at one of the tanks to fill up his truck. 221. Let's see if we can find out who this one is. 221. Steve Speckman. I'm 99.9% sure this is the first interview that they had done on him while they waited until February 1st, 2006. Somebody's going to have to answer that for me because I don't understand. I know they were busy, but he's one of the ones that called in that, that Auto Trader, not Angela. Day. Well, she said that, she claimed that it was Steve Avery, and it was actually Steven Speckman.
Yep. He should have been a priority for that day to handle.
I would think so. Within a couple of days, they should have been calling the guy.
Yep.
So, but, that we've had this report. There's nothing new to be gleaned from this. And I'm pretty sure that it was it Higgs? I'm pretty sure maybe it was Higgs that is the one that took the call that mistakenly said that this was Avery when it was actually Speckman. So there was some real confusion there. I think they got it straightened out, but a bit ridiculous. So anyway, I don't think there's anything unless you got something, Christina. I'm going to move on.
Oh, I'm good. I just find it interesting that he wasn't the right Steven, so they left him alone.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, here's some phone records they attached to this one. There it is right there. You can see it's in marker. This is a fax quality copy, so it's pretty terrible, but you can see they're highlighted there.
What's the date and time?
10:31. First one's at 11:04. Second one's at 12:43.
Why they didn't interview someone who had contact with her on the day they believe she disappeared makes no sense.
Yeah, I would think that, like I said, I would think within a few days they would have been talking, at least an initial phone call. I would think. Let me unzoom that a little bit. There we go. 222 interview of Roland Johnson. And Roland, we've been through this one too. And of course, he testified. I don't think he said much of anything different in this interview than what he testified to. He said he fired all kinds of thousands of shells through that Glenfield Marlin gun that they said was the murder weapon. Bullets everywhere, all over the damn place. It wasn't just Roland that did it either. It was also others that were on that property. Hold on a second. Oh, that looks good. Nice.
As a woman who was raised in the woods with cousins and nephews and brothers, 22s are like BB guns out here, and they shoot at everything.
Well, sure. Earl they all had guns. Everyone on the property had guns. Every one of them. So there's shells literally all over that junkyard. And then they hunted rabbits and all kinds of
Squirrels,
whatever, gophers.
Yep.
And they even just set up and shot the burn barrels, because about every burn barrel we see is full of bullet holes. So anyway, I'm not going to get off of that.
That's how you sight a gun in and get good at aiming. If you're not shooting it, you can't go hunting.
That's right. Guns get handled, so stuff get kind of whacked around, so they do resight them. Anyway, I don't think there's anything relative we're going to get out of this one that we don't already know. Of course, Johnson owned that property, and if everyone remembers, there's like that one woman called like 3 times to Manitowoc and Calumet. You guys really need to talk to Roland Johnson. That's his property. Blah blah blah. Yeah, here it is right here. Weigert asked Johnson about any ammunition he may have on the property, and he advised he may have a brick of 22 shells up there. Johnson advised that there was probably a bag of shotgun shells in the garage for reloading. So he had all kinds of ammunition, and that's nothing unusual. I think in most rural communities, not just up here in the north. I lived in the south, and it's no different there. Anyway, let's move on. 223, correction to report DCI 179. In the narrative report of 179 under item number 4, Fassbender documented that the photo taken of a 1984 Pontiac Grand Prix was taken on August 10th, 2005. That is incorrect and should have read October 10th, 2005. And I want to say something about this just briefly. One was to think that once they found a mistake in our original DCI report, that they would have a correction feature built in, right? That they could, maybe a supervisor could go in, not necessarily an agent, but a supervisor could go in and correct it, or just have an addendum date. Maybe not change the report itself, but have an addendum like listed here on the head page. Correction: this should be October or August, or October 10th instead of August, and that way it's right there on the original report.
It's interesting that you're saying that, because we can see how often they access these reports.
Oh, yeah.
And they get the final okay. So the fact that they're actually generating a report, acting as if this is how they correct things, when we can see them going in and out of these reports and not finalizing it for months later on some of them. It's, what are you trying to do? Pretend like you don't go in and fix mistakes? So did they have to generate this because the original was already out in the public realm?
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Or is this an attempt to lead the public to believe they don't go in and change things?
I'm not entirely sure. Probably in real time, these probably hadn't been released to the public, but as you read through the discovery emails between Kratz and Buting and Strain, he was sending reports. I can't say that there was any necessarily any real pattern to it, but he was sending them relatively often. So, did they already have DCI report 179? I'm gonna guess they did. I don't know that. So, but probably since this one got generated, here we are 5 months. I say 5 months. Probably at least 3 or 4 months later. So,
now I'm curious. I wonder. So that explains why Zellner did an open records request as well as a post-conviction attorney, because she's going to have the original reports that were released during discovery dumps. And then she now has the ability to go in and look at the reports that have been released subsequently, right?
right.
And to see if how the narrative has shifted or if anything major has changed. Kind of like what we're doing, but
Yeah.
she's got them from real time, whereas we got them from starting in 2015, 16. She's going to have the stuff that Kratz and Gahn and Fallon were giving out to Buting and Strang.
Yeah. Which got passed on to the subsequent appeal attorneys.
Yeah.
She got everything, or she got the bulk of her stuff from Hagopian. That was Avery's final attorney there in 2011, 12, that time frame.
Yep. So she's got that stuff. Yeah. And then she's got the stuff that they started handing out after that when people started doing open records requests.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's any what if any differences there are.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see, original, these reports here, like the one we're looking at, this unredacted. This should be a copy of the original report, because these were got from Calumet County, as far as I know. The bulk of them, I'm not going to say all of them, but a good chunk of them are agency copies from Calumet. So there really shouldn't be. These should be a copy of the original file. I'm going to say that tentatively, as far as I know. So this next one we pulled up, I'm going to say this briefly again about open records. I read, I don't know if I sent you the article or not, Christina, but I read an article recently, and it talks about open records requests and the issues surrounding it. This has been a brewing problem it's been going on for several years now. Not just, like compared to some people, we're small time. Seriously, this one reporter in this article, when the time that article was written, I think he has close to 5,000 pending open records requests with various federal and state law enforcement agencies. Not kidding. Yeah. But he's an investigative reporter. And some of these, in fact, and he basically talks like that many of these reports that he's had to take these various agencies to court to force them to release a clearly releasable record. There was no reason to hold it. There was no exemption existed, in other words. So they couldn't fall back and say, well, this is blah, blah, blah. There was nothing in their statute or law that would allow them. They just wouldn't do it, kept denying. He's had a lot of problems from, well, many agencies, including the FBI. So it's interesting, I consider myself kind of a small town. I guess maybe to some people I request a lot of stuff, but at one time I was requesting more, but as
I have not hit 1,000.
Well, no, I haven't either.
I mean,
I'm
that's
sure,
a lot of, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. He had, I think it's 4,750 outstanding records requests.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, it'd be like you almost need a computer program to help you track that. I would.
Yeah, he has to have one. He has to be doing like governments, like that's a whole nother level. Like I am nowhere near that.
Oh yeah. When I read that, I'm like, I mean, he's the guru. He's got. I'd like to be able to talk to him to get some ideas, but this being an ongoing problem with just what would we would consider these records, they're ours. We paid for them, and for an entity, I don't give a damn which law enforcement or whatever entity say, well, no, you can't have it, or we've got a reason to withhold that because it could help some story you're going to write or some pending case that's coming up. It's just wrong. And anyway, the article talks about that. Many people in these situations, they literally end up having to hire a lawyer to get records that should have been released without issue. And that was never the intent of the open records request, any of them, not even the federal one. It's so that members of the government, decide to do bad things, can't hide it. So anyway, I'm not going to get too far off into that. Anyway, let's move on. 224. The original, or this is the original. I went ahead and pulled up the old one. It's Bill Leurquin. It's redacted in the 2024 release. But Bill Leurquin is John's brother, right? They went and interviewed this guy for whatever reason. I don't really understand why they would do so, or I guess they called him. Fassbender had previously attempted to contact him. He interviewed his brother John. During that time, that John told Fassbender that his brother Bill had told him that, oh yeah, that's right, that a guy he works with hunts on the Redont property, and the hunter said that he saw a pretty big blaze by Stephen Avery's trailer on the evening of the October 31. Now, as far as I know, that went nowhere. Upon Leurquin making contact with Fassbender, Leurquin advised that he had no information that related to the Avery investigation. Fassbender advised that his brother told Fassbender that he had spoken to someone at work who saw the fire on the property. Leurquin advised that he had heard something like that around work, but did not know who said it. Leurquin advised he would check around work to see if he could identify this person, but I don't think anything ever came of it, so that was that.
I wonder where he worked.
I don't know. Doesn't say. Some industry there in Manitowoc, I'm guessing.
That seems like a logical question you would ask. He heard something around work. My next question would be, well, where do you work?
What's your employer?
Yeah.
One would think, but no. Okay, let's move on here. Where's my cursor at? My cursor head, there it is. 225 PAP slide procedures and chain. Yeah, this is the procedures and the chain of custody. There are some attachments to this document. Fassbender, he talks about picking up, delivery, handling, and storage, and I think it talks about who these couriers are, and it says this outline been prepared by. Tells a Janet Harris, team facilitator, Lab Outreach Laboratory, and Teresa Kipley. Fassbender's reporting here that he got this email. It's got some attachments. We're going to get to them here just in a second. I think it also may talk about, I'm not sure if it's this report or the other one, that there are couriers that they use. Because, again, when you're talking about chain of custody, you're talking about also couriers that you go to your doctor and they take a sample and then it gets sent to the hospital for study or whatever, and it gets put in the freezer or whatever. They use these places use couriers. So there's that area. It's still in control as long as the container is sealed, that the chain of custody is not broken. So this is, again, him attempting to explain that to make sure that, legally that they're safe. See, yep, there it is right there. The possible lab couriers involved with Hallbox sample on that day, where he gives their names there. I don't remember. I don't think they were interviewed, but I don't remember. And then the attachments. This gives basically their procedures, and it gives the process in the lab, the cytology lab process, I guess. Yeah. University of Green Bay Counseling Health Center policies and procedures for collection of pap smears, gives their procedure, and it gives names and so forth about who prepared this report. So that's that. 226 Auto Trader information and record exams. I don't particularly remember what this one's about. Fassbender and Haley Krebs. This is a new one. I don't remember seeing Krebs' name. Again, they use like 50 officers from the DOJ in this investigation. Met with Schuster, the manager at Auto Trader. And at Hale's Corner, the meeting, Schuster had been prearranged by Fassbender. Fassbender confirmed the day Teresa Hallbox started working for Auto Trader was October 8th, 2004. I think this may have an attachment to it. I can't remember. Anyway, it goes through this process, talking about this records exam at Auto Trader. I think I read through this report. I don't remember anything that jumped out at me at all. Yeah, because it's going in some different appointments and so forth. Yeah, so I knew that. I was thinking that there was some reports attached to this, or some attachments. This talks about the Canon PowerShot. I guess this is the camera that Teresa carried. Looks like they bought two, and then the 32 meg compact flash cards. They bought 10 of those. Those are 18 apiece, and gives the bill for that. Payroll. That's pretty bad up top there. I was trying to see something private party. It's hard to really make out. This is 10/14/05. I guess this is a time card for Teresa. I can't read the signatures. I'm sorry, I can't. Okay, moving on.
That looked like Teresa's signature.
Yeah, this. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this definitely looks like Teresa's here. And this is the mileage reimbursement. I don't think I knew about the mileage reimbursement. Now that I'm thinking about it, did you? That they reimbursed her? She got mileage.
I've never seen it actually itemized.
Documented.
I've heard them say, yeah, because I was curious how much they paid her because she didn't make any money at this job.
Not unless it was a hustle shot.
No, she still didn't make any money.
Well, I mean, $40 for a hustle shot, and if she's getting her mileage, she's definitely going to make some money out of that.
Yeah, but for the amount of time, wear and tear, and all of that, this job was not
wasn't a winner. Wasn't a winner. Yeah, it wasn't a winner.
For someone with a university level college degree. There were many other options for her to make money. She probably made more in a weekend of her photography business than she did in 2 weeks doing Auto Trader. Because when I was going through those receipts, looking at what she submitted for payment for a week, that job didn't pay nothing. It really didn't.
I mean, I don't remember what I'm sure that, Auto Trader probably paid them the federal mileage rate.
That's what most counts. Yeah. Zoom in
I don't know what it was in 2005, but so they give you so much per mile. It's pretty expensive now, but back then it was probably, I'm gonna guess 40.
Maybe 40 cents a mile.
Yeah.
So, look, it's figured right there. Or no, that's the total mileage. So that's 345 total, I think.
340 looks like.
340. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Let's just say it was 50 cents a mile, so she'd make 170 something bucks off of mileage. I mean, you're paying for your gas and wear and tear on your car. That's how that does it figure. Because I've had to submit mileage reports before too, and some years it's pretty lucrative. I mean, it's still wear and tear on your damn car, but
and gas. I mean,
right.
And the gas. I mean, 40 cents a mile really ain't a whole lot. I mean, that's my opinion.
Depends on how much gas was at the time, because it covers gas and wear and tear. It doesn't cover your time though. It's another part you have to figure is your time. You can't just give your time to an employer for free. That's not right.
So let's say 340 miles at 40 cents a mile. That's roughly half of that would be what, 170. So let's say 150. That's $150. And then she averaged about $50 a day if she picked up a hustle shot and then a couple of shoots. Oh, here we go. What is that? Is that a pay stub?
Well, I was looking at that. Account info. No, this is not a pay stub. This is it's like an appointment. Chevy Monte Carlo. Payments info. I'm guessing that looks like a hustle shot because it's $40. This looks like one of the printouts of where she's actually done the shot. It's even got a barcode with it. It's got a handwritten. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. looks like something appointment that she went to and taken photos, and she submitted it, or it's been submitted. I don't know exactly what this is though. The bottom, please collect VIN for vehicle. It's got it handwritten in because it wasn't written in at the top. Okay, this is Monte Carlo that Avery had for sale. Yeah, so this was a hustle shot. Exactly what it was. It says the date up at the top left is 1/21/2005. So this is in the winter, months earlier. And looks like Avery's riding there. 84 Monte Carlo 350, floor shifter, power steering, power brakes, so on and so forth. $2,500. Definitely a hustle shot because he paid her $40. And these are really low quality copies of what was an Auto Trader. I'm not sure what. I really haven't looked closely at these. I don't know if anyone else has. It's got several pages here. I'm not sure if there's anything of value here that I get so bad. It's almost, some of these are almost unreadable on just on the description.
We need to look for the
Monte Carlo.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. And why they would include all these extra pages if it is in here. That one down there with the redaction, we've got that photo.
I think that's it. Yep.
Well, this is that's a Lincoln Continental, but remember you call it the gangster car?
Mm-hmm. So that's one of them right there.
Yeah. Okay. There's the Grand Am. It's circled.
Yeah.
And then
is that it? Second row on the left. That's a Monte Carlo. It looks like one.
That's an 87 Oldsmobile.
Okay. Oh, that's a Cutlass.
Yep.
And then what else we got?
I was playing with Laser. The one's got redaction. They're about the middle of the page.
Mm-hmm.
That's out there. That's one of them.
Oh, right there, second row. Why'd they leave all the other numbers in?
I don't know. It's kind of dumb. I don't understand it. This doesn't make sense. Anyway.
This investigation is so bizarre.
It really is. All right, let's move on. 227. This transfer cranial evidence from Eisenberg to the Wisconsin Crime Lab. February 15th, 2006. And I think this just talks about I don't think there's anything here that's going to, but again, you can see here at the bottom of that first paragraph, what do you got there? A property tag number.
Mm-hmm.
So this talks, I think it's all about Holmes transporting the evidence to the Wisconsin Crime Lab from Dane County. And it's got their little ledger, whatever, D6276. And in the crime lab, this is their generated chain of custody, whatever. We've got these. Moving on, 228, evidence transfer, videotape of Stephen Avery interview. Said the occurrence date is from January 6th to February 16th. And if everyone remembers, Avery went to Brown County. He went to Green Bay for a week or 9 days or whatever it was to have his gallbladder removed early in 2006. Transferred video property 2602-1 to Capatney into Appleton, DCI. Custodian, the Maxwell videotape was contained a recording of the interview with Avery at the Two Rivers Police Department on 11/9. Yeah, I got into a discussion a while back with Case 10 about this recording because the discussion was centered around Glenn and Kelly trying to get a hold of Avery very early, right after they heard that he got arrested. The secretary called at, I'm going to get this wrong, but it seemed to me like the first call that she made was at 1:40, going on 2 o'clock, and he had been arrested not long before that. I don't know how they found out, but they did. I'm guessing one of the family members called them, and they, the secretary couldn't get anywhere, and then either she called back or Glenn or Kelly called back around 2:30. They made numerous attempts to get a hold of Avery, but he didn't arrive. He got arrested like 1 o'clock or so. It was right after they took his buccal swab and fingerprints at Aurora, but he didn't arrive to Calumet until like 4:30. So the debate was, the interview actually took place at Calumet, but it didn't. It took place at Two Rivers, which is there in Manitowoc. So
that's
which again is 40 minutes from basically about 30 or 40 minutes, whatever, drive from Manitowoc to Chilton. But it says it right there on the video. It says it's Two Rivers, so it's really pretty irritating. And of course, we all know the phone tag game not phone tag, but keep away that Hoggle played with Avery that whole evening, and they finally were allowed to go talk to him later that night. Anyway, this talks about transferring the videotape to DVD. There at the bottom, he made copies, etc., etc. Next one, 229. This is another redacted one that we have. This is an interview of, and I didn't remember this one either, Kate Leurquin. Yeah, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Kate Leurquin. I don't know who this person is. I don't remember.
That doesn't sound familiar.
No. Fassbender had returned her phone call and spoke with her husband Adam, who had told him to have Kate contact Fassbender. She had information that he had not provided. Kate advised Fassbender she doesn't really have much more to add, but she felt that she should contact Fassbender. She provided the following. You want to read that, Christina? I've read quite a bit.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see. Do you want me to start with Kate advised Fassbender?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kate advised. Yeah.
Yep. Kate advised Special Agent Fassbender that she doesn't really have much more to add, but she felt she should contact Special Agent Fassbender. She provided the following information. She advised that when it came to buying clothing, Teresa Halbach wasn't really a brand name person. She stated that Halbach would shop at stores such as TJ Maxx, Maurice's, and Gordman's. She advised she had been at Maurice's with Halbach and had also gone to Gordman's in Appleton with her. Kate advised that Halbach also probably shopped at Kohl's. Kate believed that Maurice's has their own brand name on most of their clothing, although she believed they carried some brand name clothing also. Kate advised Halbach did not spend a lot of money on clothes and as such did not buy a lot of brand name stuff. Special Agent Fassbender asked about jeans. Kate guessed that maybe she had mud jeans, which are carried by Kohl's. She advised that was just a guess, however, and that she really did not know what brand name or type of jeans Halbach wore. Kate believed Halbach only had a couple pair of jeans, as she often wore dress pants. Hold on, I'm going to take a sip. Kate remembered Halbach telling her that she wore jeans a lot in high school and thought that she should grow up a little now and wear nice clothes. Kate advised that not too long ago, Halbach was having her sister, the older one, try on her jeans and may have been handing them down to her. Special Agent Fassbender asked Kate if she knew whether Halbach wore Daisy Fuentes jeans. Kate advised Daisy Fuentes jeans are sold at Kohl's. Thus, she may have had some Daisy Fuentes jeans, but Kate could not say if she wore them for sure. Kate advised that Katie Oltek had gotten some Daisy Fuentes jeans sometime within the last year, and Oltek was a good friend of Halbach's. Kate provided, oh look, they didn't redact her number.
This is the old report.
Oh, okay. Kate provided Oltek's telephone number. Kate provided no further information, and the interview was concluded at approximately 2:26 p.m. Those were Jody's jeans.
I'm convinced they were.
Yeah.
Well, after I looked at this, I remembered, and the reason I wanted you to read it was because they made such a big deal about these Daisy Fuentes jeans. Big deal. It was something else that they felt like they could capitalize on, and it actually gets more involved because what does Fassbender up doing? He ends up taking Halbach's sister and Karen Halbach to Target or Kohl's or wherever and bought a pair of them so they could present them in court like they belong.
Strangest thing ever.
Well, it's so.
What does that prove?
It's inference. It's one more inference that Kratz did.
Yeah.
There's no way that they could know that those rivets came from Teresa's blue jeans. There's no way.
No.
But let's go buy a brand new pair and infer and make the implication that she had some just like this. So anyway, let me get this one off. Another redacted one. February 15th. This is 2:30. DCI Report 2:30. This is an interview of Katie Oltek. So he just talked to this other lady, and she mentioned Katie Oltek and gave the number. So what does Fassbender do? He calls her. I'm not, unless you guys just want to. I don't really have any desire to read this. I think I did read it, and I don't think there's anything in here that jumps out at me. He asked Oltek about Daisy Fuentes' brand name, and if she noticed Halbach buy that brand or wear that brand. Oltek advised she didn't know. So again, they created this inference out of nothing and made it stick. The created crime scene, a created crime. Those rivets could have came from, I don't think they came from Jody, because she specifically said that she burned those clothes and she was pretty sure she had a pair of them. So anyway, not unless you guys just want to, I'm good with moving on. Okay.
Okay.
231, another redacted one. So let me close that one. 231. And this is to Lisa Fox. FOCHS. I think this is another friend of Hawbox. I think. She works at SCA Tissue. Identified himself as a follow-up work on the Avery case. She lives in Appleton. She's an accountant for SCA Tissue. Asked Fox to provide some background on how she met Teresa and her relationship. Looked like they met in high school, though they've been long-term friends. I didn't remember anything out of this report either. Anybody? She mentioned Kelly Pitson and some of the other girls, Christine Herme, MK. I'm sorry. I just don't remember anything out of this report that stands out to me. Christina, nothing?
No, I'm good.
Okay, we're going to move on to 232. Probably another redacted. Yep. So we'll open that one up. Adam Leurquin, and this is the husband of the first one we read there, that Christina read. This is the husband. He also got interviewed. I don't think there's anything he added to this whole thing either. I'd advise he had been a close friend of Teresa and say he had not seen her roommate for about a year. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here at all. Moving on. Another redacted interview, 233. This is Tim Pratt. That I think that the Nowinski girl, no, one of the girls mentioned his name again, another friend, but he didn't reveal anything either. He didn't have anything to really add. He says in the next last paragraph, he asked Pratt if he knew what kind of key ring she had. He said he had seen one with a lot of keys on it. Fassbender asked if she had a key ring with the number 2003, and Pratt advised no. Okay. Well, I didn't really equal anything, that 2003 key ring they found in Avery's house either. So
at 2003, it was probably Stevens.
Could have been Jody. Could have been Jody's.
Yep. Isn't that when Stephen got out of prison?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, very well could have been Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could have given it to him, 2003, have this. All right, let's see if we've got another redacted interview. Nope, we don't. Contact by Alan Avery.
Give me my stuff back.
Actually, I think that is what it is, because by the tone of his voice, it appeared Avery was upset. Avery also asked quite things from 20 years ago about how we're being dug up, and stated something to the effect that Fassbender didn't know anything.
Yeah.
February, that sounds like Alan.
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday, February 15th, 2005. That's got to be 2006, but it should be 2006, not 05. Alan left a second message in Fassbender's voicemail. Avery again asked about his business records and his wife's wheelchair. They had some stuff that they hadn't returned to them. They kept them for months.
Why would they take Dolores's wheelchair? That's just petty.
Yeah, no one even mentioned anything about there being any DNA on any wheelchair or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, I think they had some of the logbooks and things that, I don't run a business, but I think they're records that had to be turned over, probably to the DMV or the DOT, whatever it is, and when they crush vehicles and so forth. I mean, there's all kinds of things that going in with the junkyard that they're required to do, and whatever else. So maybe even taxes. I'm sure taxes were another part of it. Anyway, he wanted his stuff back. So anyway, let's move on. And I think there's even another follow-up. This is about Don Pliska. I think there was even another one after this. I can't remember for sure. We're at 235. Let's see here. We can read some of this just to see if there's anything. I don't remember anything. This February 20th at 2006 at approximately 8:50 p.m. Fassbender telephone contact with Don Pliska, former employee. So she's already gone. And, basically 4 months, she's gone from Auto Trader for whatever reason. Let's see here. Pliska was actually returning Fassbender's call from earlier that evening. Fassbender had left a voicemail. Upon making contact with Pliska, Fassbender identified himself and advised he was doing some follow-up on the Halbach investigation and wanted to ask him some additional questions. Fassbender went over some of the information Pliska had provided in an earlier interview with Agent McGrath. Pliska agreed that on Monday, October 31, a male subject had called Auto Trader between 8:30 and 9, wanting a photograph taken of a vehicle. Subject provided the name of B. Yonda. Pliska agreed that after taking that phone call, she attempted to contact Teresa and ended up leaving a voicemail message for Halbach. Fassbender asked Pliska how long her call with the male subject lost my place. The male subject purported to be Yonda. She call Halbach? Pliska said as soon as she probably could. Pliska revealed that early in the morning she's there handling most of the calls. It may have been a little busy at first. Pliska believed she probably called Halbach around 9 or 9:30 a.m. Fassbender asked what type of information she left for Halbach. In her message, Pliska stated that she believed she said to Halbach that there was a guy that wanted her to come out that day to take a photo of a vehicle. Pliska said she gave the subject's telephone number and she thought probably the address too. Pliska said that she also stated that the subject said that she had been out there before. Not send that photographer that came here before. Pliska said that she just told Halbach to call her back. Fassbender asked Pliska if she remembered a second call from the same male subject or from Stephen Avery later that morning. Pliska stated that she did not remember another call. Fassbender advised that according to the Auto Trader phone records for their toll-free number, a call came in at 11:04 from Stephen Avery's home phone. Pliska advised she would have been at lunch already. Pliska advised that she normally goes to lunch at 11 a.m. and gets back a little after 12 p.m. or noon. Pliska advised that the call would have been taken by either Rachel Higgs or Karma Oven or possibly Angie Schuster. Pliska confirmed that she called Halbach in that afternoon and did ultimately make contact with her. Fassbender asked Pliska what they talked about during that contact. Pliska said that she engaged in some personal talk, and Pliska told Halbach about her son. Pliska advised that was common when she spoke with Halbach. I don't know of any other call that she ever had with Pliska. Not one. But How about? Yeah, I don't know of any other phone conversations that Teresa had when she called in, or there was contact. It was just about, a vehicle, or it was not normal. Pliska advised that Halbach then said something to the effect, "Oh, by the way, it was the Avery brothers, and I'm going there now." Right. That's been reminded Pliska about Halbach telling her about Stephen Avery coming to the door dressed only in a towel. Well, I don't think that was exactly how that was stated. It was one of the anyway. Pliska stated that she remembered Halbach telling her that. Fassbender asked if Halbach indicated how many times Avery had done this, and Pliska stated at least a couple times. Fassbender asked Halbach personally if Halbach personally told Pliska about it, and she advised yes. Fassbender asked how many times she spoke to Halbach when Halbach mentioned Avery doing this. Pliska advised a couple of times, or 2 or 3 times. Not a lot. So now it's went from 1 time to a couple of times. Now it's 2 or 3 times. Pliska advised that they talked about other photo shoots and customers. Sorry, I don't believe her. I don't believe her.
With the pronouns and the way that's worded, that could have been in relation to the towel, or it could have been in relation to Stephen booking an appointment in someone else's name because it wasn't his specific vehicle that was being sold.
That's right.
We don't have enough context to know what she was trying to say. A couple of times he showed up with the towel on, or a couple of times that he had sold or booked appointments and handled the photography for others on the salvage yard who were selling vehicles.
Well, it also goes unmentioned that Avery had that little pool out there too. So if he was out there in his bathing suit, when it went inside, she comes to the door and he wrapped the towel around. I don't know anything inappropriate about it. Even if he had stepped out of the shower, I still don't find it inappropriate if he answered the door in a towel. I mean, I can't say that's happened a lot in my life, but I've been greeted by people, in their bathrobe or whatever. I didn't think anything about it, like they were trying to do something weird.
Well, I mean, they want us to think Stephen ran around in his underwear. And then, we need to recognize he was trying to be modest if he had a towel around him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I just have a real difficult time believing Don Pliska. I just do. Anyway, let's move on. 236, follow-up interview with Rachel Higgs. Another follow-up. And I'm not going to read this one unless you guys just want to read through it. We've had this one. It's not new. I will comment, and I've had many conversations with this is an old Redditor from way back. But it was like, if you read these reports from the various employees at Auto Trader, it was like they were trying to one-up each other in what they knew. I know this, that I had these, I did this. I'm not saying that's what happened, but in some situations, it came across that way to me. Maybe not true, or maybe there was a little rivalry. They're getting a lot of attention from a lot of cops calling them and coming to see them, special agents, and it's a big deal. Somebody's personal life. Let's move on. Interview with Cher Van Ness, and I did not remember this one at all. I just, for whatever reason, I didn't remember it. This is on February 21st, 2006. That's been given Van's name by Auto Trader. Okay. As a photographer that worked for the Manitowoc and Sheboygan areas prior to Kathy Wilford. Upon making contact with Van Ness, Fassbender identified himself, and so forth. Fassbender asked Van Ness if she worked as a photographer for Auto Trader. She advised yes. Fassbender asked what counties she covered, and she advised Manitowoc, Sheboygan, Calumet, and Dorr. That's a big area. Fassbender asked if she ever took any photographs of Avery's and Avery property, and she advised no. Fassbender asked her how long she worked for Auto Trader, and she advised about 9 months. Fassbender asked when she started and quit, and she said she cannot remember exactly. She advised that she may have started in 2003. She believed that she ended up quitting late fall or earlier, just before Christmas. So nothing there.
Yep. So Stephen had just gotten out of prison.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was doing it before Kathy Williford took it over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is with an inmate at Oshkosh. Let's see if we've got this one. 236. We do. They actually talked to several of these, and I'm certainly not going to read through them. But this was that was wrong. I did that bad. Pardon me. 238. There we go. And this inmate's name is Anthony G. Myers at Oshkosh. The interview was on February 23rd, 2006, and actually, Fassbender actually wrote the report the same day. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that he had been cellmate or in the block or whatever. I don't know if this is the one of these described Avery talking about a torture chamber. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Myers in Green Bay during a period of time, 86 through 89, or 88, I'm sorry. So this was, it's 18 years ago prior to the investigation. They're going way back. Yeah, I'm not going to read through all this. You guys are welcome to do so if you wish. I've read it before, and I didn't take anything out of it. I think this interview was recorded because it's pretty lengthy. It's several pages, 7 pages long. And that just tells me that to get that much into a narrative, you got to have a recording. I doubt that he would have that completed, the notes that complete. Just an opinion. Anyway, let's move on. 239. Contact with Chuck Avery. This is on 227, 2006. February 27th, Fassbender telephoned Chuck Avery early in that evening on his cell phone to request an opportunity to meet with him. Chuck at that time told Fassbender that he was in Manitowoc and he was going to have a couple of drinks, drop some auto parts off. Chuck said that he would do things he had to do and head back. It was arranged that he would attempt to recontact Fassbender on Fassbender's cell phone, or Fassbender would recontact him. Yeah. What data? Yeah, this is the 27th. And this is the day that Fassbender and Agent Lewis were talking to everyone, and then they rushed back over to Fox Hills and interviewed Brendan at 10:50 this night. So again, there's nothing extraordinary or new here that I'm aware of. So a couple page report. 240 redacted. If we can find out who this one is. This is Jesse Roland, and I actually think he gets interviewed. Actually, I'm almost positive he gets interviewed again. This is on February 17th, 2006. by John E. Christopher out of Eau Claire Special Assignment. He's DCI agent. He did not have a backup, it appears. We can find out who this guy is. I don't remember. He met with Jesse Roland at the Eau Claire Police Department to conduct a follow-up interview. Roland, regarding Stephen Avery, Roland continues to reside at, gives his address. Christopher told Roland the purpose of the interview was to try and better identify individuals Avery associated with while Avery was in prison. So he's a former inmate. Yeah, I don't have any interest. I know I've read this before, so unless there's some interest now, we're going to move on. Christina, move on.
Move on.
Okay. All right, heading into 241. There it is. Wow, my cursor keeps disappearing. Contact with Barb Yonda, 227. Like I said again, there's multiple contacts on 227 with various people. Fassbender and Uyghur met with Barb Yonda at the Mishkat High School. We know about all this one. This was after Brendan had been shanghaied earlier. They took him to the, they took him to the fire department or wherever the hell it was. And they had an interview. Then they decided, well, you guys we need to abduct you and take you to Fox Hills for the night because we want to segregate you from everyone. I just do not agree with that kind of policing at all. If they're in real danger, sure.
Yeah, me either.
Just, I don't agree with it at all. Okay. 242. This is an interview of Earl, Candy, and I'll pull it up here, but I'm pretty sure it's Kayla. 242. Yeah, Earl, Andy, and Kayla. And I feel certain that this recording, or this interview, is recorded as well. It's 3 pages. I mean, I guess somebody could take copious notes in that amount of time, but this is another one that we've had. There's nothing outstanding or new here that I'm aware of. So we're going to move on to 243. Okay, we got a double blank here. And I think I remember who this is. I think I could be wrong. Yeah. This is Travis and his girlfriend. And nothing extraordinary for me that jumped out of this one either. I mean, obviously Travis and Brendan were friends. So let's go back here. Let me look at something. Yeah, this is another one that's on 227. We talked to a lot of people that day. Like they were needing to get something done. Like, we got to get something done, guys. Remember, they had talking to Kayla a week before on the 20th, but they didn't talk to Brendan for a week. My feeling is something happened in those 7 days. Some kind of approach was decided upon, and that's exactly what they did. Anyway, it goes on. The Fassbender met with at Robert's house. Travis is his son. Fassbender asked Travis about Brendan. Travis advised that he and Brendan hang around together all the time at school and also on the weekends at Travis's house. He advised Brendan has been coming over to his house every weekend since probably November. Again, there's nothing here that I'm aware of that's new or whatever. So we're going to move on. We're at 8:53. We'll do a few more, then we're going to call it. We're going to call it good. It'll be a couple of hours. That's long enough. 244, contact with Brendan Dassey and Barbianda.
What's the date?
This is again the 27th. There's a bunch of these on the 27th. That's
Wow.
why I said it was a flurry of activity this day. A flurry. This is at well, basically, this is when they went back over that night. You can look at the time, 22:50 till 23:02. So 10 minutes to 11 to 11:02. And this is where, you know, it gets into the conversation that Fassbender's having with Brendan about this stain. Brendan told him it smelled like motor oil, or smelled like oil, whatever he says, motor oil, whatever, that he cleaned up. But then Fassbender said, well, could it have been blood? Well, yeah, I guess it could have been blood. Fassbender's one suggested that. But it smelled like oil, so make that work out. Of course, that was, I guess, maybe a something that he seized upon in the moment. I don't know. But Fassbender's the one that suggested that this could have been blood. It wasn't Brendan at all. He said it smelled like oil. Anyway, this is one report that we did not have. 244. We were able to get a part of a copy, the really, really bad copy, without the header. No, Doc had that for a while that he got from someone, but again, without the header, and I'm not even sure it was a complete report. I don't think it was, but nonetheless, you know, this is where we saw what Brendan told Fassbender. Anyway, moving on. Oh, this is a drawing. This is one of the ones that you know, Doc has used in the reading with the crew, showing the stain area, which is not in that back right corner, back here. It's up toward the front, right in front of the door. So that, you know, that's another problem for the state. Anyway, moving on. We're jumped up now to March 1st, garage warrant photography. Now, I will tell you guys, as you can see, this is 3-1 and 3-2. This is Kevin Hammerl. He took a lot of photographs, not just on this day. He took a lot of photographs on other days as well. So he was kind of one of the guys that had a camera available. We're going to read this one. You feel like reading this one? It's not that long, Christina. Is your voice okay?
Yeah, I can make it through this one.
Okay.
Let's see. On March 1st and 2nd, 2006, Special Agent Kevin L. Hammerl assisted with the execution of a search warrant at the residence of Stephen Avery. Special Agent Hammerl was assigned to assist other investigators with the search of the garage structure named in the search warrant. During the course of the search warrant execution, Hammerl utilized a 35 millimeter autofocus SLR camera and exposed 85 frames of 400 ISO color print film. The exposed film was developed into photographic prints and also scanned to digital format for storage at the DCI.
On CD.
Oh, yeah, sorry. For storage on a CD. Field photographic log sheets were completed for each of the 4 rolls of film. The photographic log sheets will be submitted to what's DCR?
I'm not sure. It's some kind of storage facility or storage area that they use to, you know, store various things.
Do we have this film?
No. And so this is what why I asked you to read this one, but is because last week this is one of the first ones that I mean, I asked for other stuff too, but I definitely asked for this one because, as you can read there, he took 85 photos of the garage on March 1st and 2nd. They are not attached to this report. They are not attached at the end of the report. The photographs at the end of the report taken by, I think it's Rent, RINDT. I had asked for those. That's one of the ones that I asked for last year in like June or July. And they are included. But these 85 photographs of the garage are not. So I asked for those. I asked for those in that one of the first records requests that I did last week. And then I got the reply, we're preparing, yada, 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 after review. Well, if you haven't reviewed them in 19 years, all of you need to be fired.
Yeah, right.
These photographs haven't been reviewed and approved, or if you're going to withhold them, you're going to have to tell me why. Is there a court case coming up? I don't think so. Is there a trial date set? I don't think so. Have they been sealed by a judge? No, they haven't. So to use the excuse, well, we're preparing some stuff, it's just another delay. And even if you do release more stuff, that's no guarantee that these photographs are going to be part of that at all.
And like, why did we have to wait?
Exactly.
I'm wondering that those could be very interesting.
Well, that's going to be probably one of my next, because I've got a few more that I'm trying to send these and only ask for one or two, maybe three things at a time instead of a list.
Mm-hmm.
And try to, it's easier. I mean, I hate to send more requests, but it's like I'm screwed either way. They're going to make me wait if I just ask one or two things. They're going to make me wait if I send a list because it takes longer to prepare. It's crazy. But that's going to be part of my next open records request. Understanding that you guys are preparing, whatever to release. Does that mean that my records request is not going to be fulfilled until you do your thing?
Or are you preparing to release it to me?
Yeah. Has that somehow become part of the open records law that I'm unaware of?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do things the legal way. And I expect them to do the same.
Exactly.
Right? So, anyway.
Very interesting.
Mr. President says, what is the date? Okay, I'll go back here to the header page. It's March 1st. The report was prepared on, the occurrence date is March 1st and 2nd. Howard prepared the report on March 3rd. It's up there at the top, at the top of the header. So he prepared the report right away, and the film got developed and put on CD. He doesn't say exactly when, and I don't remember seeing anything from.
But it would have to be the 1st or the 2nd or the 3rd.
Well, I would think, yeah, it would have been, the film would have had to have been, the negatives developed into prints, and then they got scanned in digitally and put on CD. That happened right away.
Well, and before he wrote the report.
Exactly. So it either had to happen on the evening of the 2nd or the morning on the 3rd.
Yep. And Brendan was arrested when?
The 1st.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yep. So I did ask for these. When, if ever I'll ever get them, we'll see. But this is another irritating report because, as we've seen throughout, a lot of the reports have attachments, whether it be a photographic attachment or a receipt or a ledger or whatever. Yet these photographs are not attached. Why not? See how selective that's being? It's not being truthful. They're being very selective about what they're letting go to the public. And that's wrong.
Yeah, being very evasive.
Very evasive. So, anyway, I think we're going to call it good here. Of course, another one's an interview that's redacted.
What number are we on now?
246 is where we'll start tomorrow evening, and we'll get through some more. Hopefully, Doc will feel better, get some good medication, and feel better by next week. We'll see. He needs to take care of himself, though. I mean, we feel it's important to do this, but at the same time, it's not worth the cost of anyone's health. Real life comes first.
No.
So, with that said, you got anything you want to add?
No, just thanks for everyone in chat, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully my voice will last the entire broadcast. It did good for the first half.
It did pretty good. I mean, it's cracking a little bit, but not like it did last week.
No, it was bad last week.
Yeah, are you having to take medication for what you've got, Christina, or no?
I'm not taking anything for whatever this is. I probably should have, but I just had so much going on. I didn't go to the doctor. So
if it doesn't, leave you soon, you might want to go to the clinic and.
Yeah, I got to go. I think on Tuesday anyway. So I'll have her, just take a peek and go from there.
Well, good deal. All right, guys, I see we've gotten some thanks in the live chat. Hey, this is something we feel like needs to be done, needs to be talked about. I will mention, I know Mr. President has seen it, probably others as well. There is a huge uproar going on X. There are a number of different subjects. It's not just one thing. It's about the case. Kratz did make a comment, pretty snide comment actually towards me the other day. I replied back. The thing about, it's because I've asked him a number of questions. A few he did respond to. He commented. Whether we enjoyed his comment or not is irrelevant. He did comment. But there are a number of questions that I put to him that he didn't touch at all. He completely ignored me. And these are not just. These are complicated. A lot of these are complicated questions that we have no answers for. He was involved. He was the top dog. Case did make a good comment. Well, he wasn't there during all this stuff going on. Maybe he didn't know, and I've said that before. I think there's instances where Kratz did not know what was going on, even didn't find out until later on. But he made a pretty snide comment towards me and foul play and Doc. If you don't, people don't want to listen. I'm okay with that. My feelings not hurt. I'm not on here for accolades or my ego. This is purely about the case. And people enjoy diving in with us and posing their own thoughts and doing their own thing. I'm okay. That's fine. If anybody jumps in that doesn't necessarily agree with us, I'm okay with that too, as long as they're civil about it. Don't try to convince me to believe what they believe. I'm fine with their opinion, but it doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. And I feel the same. They don't have to believe me. I'm okay with that too. Again, it's not about ego for me, but for him, it clearly is. His comment was, it was really, and I've been very civil towards him on X, very civil. He said some other snide things about me and others that, I'm just not going to retaliate in that way because I want answers. I'm not looking to get into some garbage can fight. That's not why I'm doing it. If he didn't want to answer any more questions, if he didn't want to answer questions, he should have never made the statement back in April that he would. He's the one that made the statement, not me. So I started asking him questions. If he doesn't want to reply, if he's done, he should just say so. And I'll stop asking him. You want to get included? I won't ask him. I'm still going to ask the questions, though, because there are questions, again, serious questions about the investigation that are unanswered. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on and rattling on, and we'll get back into this tomorrow evening. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I'm going to have some dinner and got some other things to do. And with that said,
I'm just going to say this. If Ken Kratz didn't know what was going on, there was enough evidence to make him question the case being brought to him. And if he was truly seeking the truth, he would have made a good faith effort to get to the bottom of what was happening.
I agree.
That's how
we look at the week of November, week of the investigation, with David Salvage Yard, November 8th, the Manitowoc Sheriff's Department gets kicked off the property. There's no reports from them, and they're there for 3 more days, 9th, 10th, and 11th, well, 4 more days, 9th through the 12th. But nothing from the Manitowoc Sheriff's Department because they got thrown off of there. What happened on the 8th? Well, everybody knows what happened on the 8th. The burn pit, the key. Come on. Something occurred on that day to have them removed. Blind man, Stevie Wonder could see that. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Thanks again, everyone, for jumping in here with us for a couple hours. We'll do it again tomorrow night, and we'll get through some more of these. If you got questions, bring them. We didn't have really many questions tonight. There was a lot of conversation, but not many questions. But we'll get through some more, and we'll do the same thing again. That said, I got to tell you guys, this has been a Foul Play production.